A lot of times we find ourselves drawn to poses at difficult angles, pun intended. We might find a pose where the head is cocked to an interesting angle or orientation, and it just moves the facial features around in a way that makes it very difficult to draw. Kind of like this. Ugh, so difficult to draw. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to draw this guy. Let's jump in. Now's a great time to go get a pencil and a sketchbook and try to draw along. Don't let yourself get discouraged. Just follow my steps, try to have fun. You will get better if you keep practicing. The first thing we need to do is divide this incredibly complex sculpture into 3 simple parts. Just like a still life, I'm thinking about 3 simple parts, 3 non-objective objects stacked one on top of the other. So I allow myself to just see the shape for the head and hair. And I'm going to allow myself to not see a head and hair, just a non-objective shape on top. Okay. And I want to get that in correct relationship with the cylindrical shape of the neck, and then get those 2 shapes in correct relationship with the shape of the upper body, or however much of it we actually have here. So, first thing I want to do, basic comparative measurement between the width and the height. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's not just one right way. Learning how to measure is a skill. It's a skill that you practice and you get better at. There's no just correct way to do it. It's like a muscle, just strengthen it. Okay, so I think I want the head to be about this big on my page. And you can see here, I'm practicing something called enveloping. Enveloping is where we kind of ignore all the ins and outs of the contouring and we just wrap. It's like we're wrapping the top part or the head in saran wrap, and it'll create these straight lines. Just like this. And I'm stepping back, I'm allowing my eye to drift out of focus, and I'm just trying to see, can I get the general shape planned out accurately? Okay, so what I found is that the length is a little bit shorter than the width at one particular point. So obviously the width and the length change as you move from right to left. That's why you pick one single point. So there's my width in relationship to the length, and I want to allow myself to capture basic angles and just sort of the major angles of the pose, not the minor angles of the pose. So I'm not thinking about these angles here where the hair part's right there, right? We're not getting into all that. We're simplifying everything. Okay, now, I'm happy with this measurement. I think I've got the height to width ratio correct. Now I need to plan the next shape. So I'm gonna plan the cylindrical shape of the neck. First I wanna see how long is it. So I will measure from that suprasternal notch to the hyoid bone, which is where this canopy of muscles underneath the jaw meets the throat basically. So I'll go from, if you want more in-depth anatomy for the artist training, you can check out my Patreon. If you're interested in what I'm doing right now, it's a measuring technique. You can find out exactly what I'm doing in my YouTube video called Finding Distance. Once again, not letting myself get sucked into the detail here. I really am just asking myself, ooh, you know, I made a crucial error here. I brought the hairline into the chin here. This is the problem with enveloping. Sometimes, see, this is where the hair comes in, and then we'll have this jawline coming in too on the inside. So I need to be careful here. In fact, I think this contour of the face right here is probably something fairly essential to find right now. So let's do that. So this, the hair comes out here, comes down, and the hair is going to maybe come out to about here. Okay, how far left or right are we going to place the side of the head, the contour of the cheek, etc.? Well, let's see. I can measure from the cheekbone to the side of the hair. 1, 2, a little under 3. So something like this. So once again, go check out my video, Finding Distance, if you're confused as to what I'm doing there. Okay, so this is going to come in and come down, and now that I have this placed, I can place this side of the cylinder of the neck. And I'm saying this cylinder of the neck instead of just saying the neck intentionally, because I really need to allow myself to just see this as a cylinder for as long as possible. So stepping back, asking myself, does this feel correct? Maybe I've pushed it out a little far. I can bring it in a little bit, but I think I'm fairly happy with it. Now, how far down is the chest going to go? So I'll just measure from the base of the sculpture, and I'm not including the pedestal, to the suprasternal notch, and that'll go in from the suprasternal notch 1, just under 2 to the top of the head. So something like this, and you can see I'm not getting like exact with it, and that's because this isn't a commission. I'm just practicing. If this were a commission, I'd spend a lot longer making sure I get the measurements correct. Notice when I draw the angle for the shoulder coming out here, I'm allowing myself to draw through what I've already done, because I'm not worried about a perfect drawing at this stage. I'm worried about getting perfect angles, because angles are going to be where most of us succeed or fail in our drawings. All right, so how far out is this going to go? Well, I can hold up a plumb line and just create an idea of the negative space on this vertical line and the contour of the hair right here. And so I think it's going to go to about right here. So we've got this point found, we've got this point. Now we can just connect it with an angle, something like that. Let's keep going. How about this shoulder right here? Find that angle, bring it through the rest of the form. It should do something like this. Stepping back, does it feel correct? Maybe. How far out are we going? Once again, another plumb line, finding that negative space, and I'm going to bring it to about right here. Not the most accurate way to measure, but for my purposes of just asking myself, how are we going to simplify this complex pose? I think this will work just fine. Now I'm beginning to add a little bit of nuance here. Okay, so what I want to do now is make sure I capture the orientation of the head. So I'm pleased with the 3 shapes that I found, right? Top shape, middle shape, and the base. So basically head, neck, and the torso right here. So now what I want to do, and this is where the division of light and shadow becomes so useful. I'm just trying to find the angles of what this jawline is doing. So we're taking a simple shape and we're adding just a small amount of nuance to it. I'm not thinking eyes, nose, mouth. I'm still thinking about molding this shape like it's a sculpture, like it's a piece of clay. Okay, so this concludes part 1 to this video. I'm dividing it into 3 parts so that more of you will watch the entire video and the YouTube algorithm will like me better. Also, it makes just the editing and posting a little more sustainable for me. I want to be able to post 3 videos per week, so I got to make shorter videos. Like and subscribe and hit that notification so that you can see when part 2 comes out. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.